Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ramba Academy. I am Tawana and here we teach you programming principles to empower you to become a better creator and to become a better programmer. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Vim. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like and hit that notification bell. And as always, follow me on my social media account. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to use the cursor or move the cursor around the screen a little bit more efficiently. Because when you're using Vim, you should be keeping your hands away from your mouse and you should be keeping your hands on your keyboard all the time. Because the more we have to click around, the less efficient we become and the less effective we become. Let's jump into my screen and show you what I mean. So let's imagine that you're given a project file by your professor or by your manager and you have a bunch of files. And the thing which you want to do is you want to navigate through these files and understand what each and every single file does. For example, let's open up linklist.c. Now let's add a little bit of color so it makes it a little bit easier to read what we're seeing. Cool. So the first thing I want to show you is how to place your cursor onto different regions of your screen. So if you want to place your cursor at the very middle of your page, you just press the letter M, capital M. So that'll be Shift and M. And see how my cursor jumps to the middle of the screen, which is right here. And the same thing is true as well. If I want to go to the bottom of my screen, I can press Shift L or capital case L to jump to the bottom of my screen. And then capital case H to jump to the top of my screen. So M for middle, L for bottom, and H for top. So that's how you place your cursor on different positions. So the helpful thing about this is that if you want to go to the middle of your screen, I can just press the M, and then I can go down, and I can use the commands which I learned in the last video to find a specific letter of in that line, and then you start making your edits. So that's one way of moving your cursor from the middle of the screen to the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen. Now let's say that if you want to jump straight to the end of the file and see what the last method is, or you want to start reading from the bottom up, you can do that. So if you press Shift G, that's going to jump you straight to the end of the file. Now let's say if you want to go straight to the top of the file, so let's say that you're reading some code and you want to see some class variables or you want to see some constants or some header files. Press double G to jump to the very top of the code. Now that is some basic cursor motions. Now let's say that you want to not necessarily jump to the top and to the bottom, but you just want to move one line at a time. But you don't want to hold J, go all the way to the bottom of the screen, and then use J to scroll down. Well, what you could do is you can press Control and E to scroll one line at a time. So Control E, and that's going to move the screen one line at a time. Control E is going to move in the down direction. And I can just have a read on what this code is doing and how it's doing it. And now let's say if I want to go in the opposite direction, I can use Control Y to go up. And that's going to move the screen one line up at a time. Now let's say that you want something a little bit faster. So you want some faster movements. You want to not go one line at a time, but you want to go half a page at a time. You can do that using Control U or Control D. Control U will move the page half a page up and Control D half a page down. So let's start off with Control D. And that's going to move the page down half a page. But I don't know about you, using these two commands kind of makes me feel a little bit nauseated and a little bit sick. So I like just to stick with Control E and Control Y. So Control U moves up and Control D moves down. Now let's say that you are adding text and you're making some changes. Let's say that your cursor is on the bottom of the screen and you want to put where you're making your changes in the middle of the screen. You can do that using ZZ. So CZ is going to reposition your screen so that your cursor is going to be in the middle of the screen. So if I press ZZ, that line is going to be in the middle of my screen. Now if I want that line, or where my cursor is, to be the bottom of the screen, I can press Z, then B. So Z and B, the cursor is going to move down to the bottom of the screen now. Now let's say if I want to move this cursor to the very top of the screen, or reposition my screen so that the cursor is on the top, I can press Z and then T. And that cursor is going to be the top. So these commands by itself are not really that useful and that powerful. They only become useful and powerful when you start to combine them with other commands, like the commands we learned from the last video, such as the find command and the to command. For example, let's imagine that our cursor is somewhere around the top of the page, and I want to change that if statement. I can hold J until I get to that if statement, or what I could do is I can jump to the last line of my screen and then go up from there. So what I'm going to do is Shift L to go to the last line, go up, press F, type in 1 and append and go 0. But when you're getting started, this might be a little bit hard and confusing for you. So what I would recommend is that try to use these commands once in a while when you're using Vim. And in time, you're actually going to start becoming more comfortable using those commands. And with time, you're going to start building experience. And when you start building that experience, your efficiency and your effectiveness in Vim is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. That is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what other videos you want to see, what you liked of the video, and what you didn't like of the video. I'll see you guys in the next video.